Hey, so I was gonna just talk about the the comic book I'm kind of writing, and like I'm not gonna say like the whole entire story because it's kind of like complicated and everything like that. But I was just gonna go through how it connected with this like dream I had. So so the dream, I feel like this sounds really weird. So the dream I was obviously sleeping. Okay. Anyway, I was having this really vivid dream, and felt really significant to me, like this specific dream I had, and I was in my apartment, and um, something was like attacking me, and I looked down, and it was like this weird, kind of like spider-like creature, and it's kind of hard to describe. It was kind of like a spider-like creature, like it was had like 8 legs, but it was like made of muscles. It was all like muscles, and but it had like kind of like a few hairs here and there, but it was like spider like, and it had like spider eyes. Obviously, I kind of did like a quick drawing of it. This isn't really. I mean, this is kind of what it looked like. It had like fangs and stuff. I mean, like that's not. I didn't put a ton of effort into that, but and um, it was like trying to get my life force. Like I knew it was trying to get my life force, and it was like almost gonna make me bleed, but it was getting my life force. It wasn't getting my, you know, it wasn't gonna like drain me of blood or whatever. It was gonna drain me of my like life, but through my life force. I don't know. I just knew it in the dream. But then, I looked down and there was this like cat. There's this cat there, and it fought off the you know creepy creature thing. And in the dream, um, I knew the creature was like pure evil, if that makes any sense. I knew the creature was like pure evil, and it was like a manifestation of evil in the dream. But I knew the creature was pure evil, and the the cat, after it like killed the creature, it like looked up at me, and its like eyes were like huge, and like its pupils were like really round and huge, and it looked at me like with pure love. This sounds really cheesy. It looked at me with like pure love and like, but it wasn't an intelligent cat. It was it was built to, in this dream, it was just built to go against evil. It was built to, it wanted to get evil. You know what I mean? It wanted to fight it, and it wanted to save me or whatever. And so ever since that dream, I've really thought about cats in a different way, in a strange way. I don't know, because like that cat was there in the dream to like protect me. It was like it really it like saved me, and like it made me think like, well, what if cats really are? Oh, and in the dream, this is a big thing in the dream. In the dream, the thing was invisible. The creature was invisible, but I could see it for some reason. But it was actually invisible to my eyes. It wasn't invisible to the cat's eyes. The cat knew about it, and obviously the cat could always see it. But for that period of time, I was able to see it, and I could see what the cat saw. Like in a sense, I had the cat's eyes. So anyway, I I started to like see cats around my neighborhood and stuff, and I started to see them as kind of like a good omen in a weird way. Like this cat is like what if, let's just say, what if these cats can actually see, like, evil things and they're protecting you from them? Like, and it made me think of, like, the history of, like, cats and, like, Egyptians and kind of, like, cats are seen as, like, a bad omen in some sense. Like, oh, if black cat walks across, that's bad luck or whatever. But then that made me think, like, what if this all came from, and I don't really, like, believe all this, but I'm saying this would be really good for a, you know, just an interesting thing to think about. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I believe the cats, whatever. But anyway, I was thinking, wouldn't it be interesting if, like, okay, so, there are these evil things, and the cats see them, and they're fighting them off, but you don't see that, people don't see that, and so they're associating cats with bad things that are happening because these creatures suck your life force out. So the cats are getting this kind of bad rap because they're around when these bad things happen. So this whole thing made me think of, like, a really interesting, like, comic book I wanted to do, and I've been, like, working on it for a while now. And basically I'll just see, like, I'll just imagine characters and stuff that'll work with it and everything. And I came up with this character called DJ Cat Eyes, and basically he can see what these cats see, and that's why he's called DJ Cat Eyes. And he has a radio show, and, like, not a lot of people watch it. I mean, listen to it or anything. Like, he just does it from his basement or something. And so he's called DJ Cat Eyes, and he basically tries to, like, warn everyone that, like, well, where these cats are, and I mean, not where these cats are, where these creatures are and everything, because he can see them. And he lives with, like, a bunch of cats because, he doesn't want to be without protection, obviously. And he's kind of lonely because, everyone thinks he's crazy. He's talking about cats, and he goes to, like, vets and goes, like, oh, don't declaw them, and, like, maybe protest there or something, or passes out flyers. And people just see him as kind of like a crazy guy, on the radio or whatever. And so he's kind of lonely, and he really wishes that someone else would be able to see these cats, right? And so one day these attacks, and he's always, like, in his house, and he doesn't really go out much because he's afraid of the world, he's afraid of these things getting them because of his experience, like, similar to the thing that happened in the dream happened to him as a kid or something. But anyway, he lives with a bunch of cats, and he doesn't go out much. He doesn't, he warns people about this evil, but he doesn't act, he doesn't try to stop it. He kind of just warns everyone and goes, oh, that's good, you know what I mean? Like, I warned them. That was, all I needed to do. But he doesn't go any farther than that. Anyway, so in the comic book that I'm writing or whatever, the attacks are getting worse, and he's seeing, creepier and creepier things, and it starts to, like, he's seeing it affect the town he's living in, or the city. I was gonna make it be in a city, but he sees that it start affecting things, and there's more, like, robberies, and there's more, just, like, fights breaking out and stuff, because these creatures are, creating it in a weird way, because they sort of incite you to be, your worst self or whatever. And so there's these two other characters that I made up, and one's a girl who her name's Moody, and basically she can kind of feel, like, the the things, the creatures or whatever. She can kind of feel them instead of seeing them. And she was an orphan, and and then I also have this other guy, and he's kind of a crazy he's kind of a crazy veteran, and I have him. Um, he was in like Vietnam or whatever, and like he saw a bunch of like um, he realized these creatures were there because he was in war or whatever, and um, he's really smart, and he was able to make devices and stuff to like to see them and to make kind of weapons against them because obviously he wants to fight them. And he adopted the Moody, and he adopted her from the orphanage because he was investigating these creatures and like why they were, why places of despair were these creatures were coming to these places of despair and everything like that. And that's how he ended up adopting her. And they've been they've been listening to DJ's radio show and everything to kind of find out where the creatures are, and they've been basically been fighting these creatures. He created a device where you can kind of see the creatures, and it kind of breaks through. I was thinking of it, and I kind of made this stuff up. There's kind of like these layers um, to another world where these creatures kind of come through, and you can't see them between the layers. And so he kind of created a device that penetrates the layers and it allows you to see through. And I'm still kind of working on the weapons. And I've been kind of reading some like physics books, and I might kind of base stuff off that. Um, I don't know where I'm going with that. I might, it's all a process or whatever, and I have most of like the story done, but not the specifics of how exactly these like weapons work and stuff. And I want them to like be cool, and like the physics to actually work. I don't want it to be like, oh, and they just walked through. I mean, I want like the science to actually be real. So I've been, you know, thinking of that. But anyway, him and Moody really want to fight these things, because they they're causing such upset. And what's happening is these creatures are getting worse, and weirder creatures are starting to come through, and scarier creatures, not just these like little ones. And it's kind of in the comic book. It's like I'm making them creepier. They look kind of like Guillermo del Toro. I can never pronounce his name. Kind of creatures like because I really like interesting looking creatures, and I really like the creatures in Hellboy the movie. I think that makeup's really cool, but they kind of look like that, and they're getting worse. And I don't want to give the whole story away and everything, but I'll just tell a little bit what happens. So Moody comes to DJ's house and is like, "Oh, we gotta help. We gotta get these creatures, out of here and everything." And he's like, "No, fine. I'll show you the ropes and everything, but I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna fight them. I'm not gonna, do this because I'm not gonna put myself at risk." And he, after talking to her and kind of hanging out with her, he comes back to the apartment, and all the cats are dead. I know this sounds very morbid. Like, I'm not this morbid of a person, but all the cats are dead. They've been massacred because like these creatures are getting worse, and he's realizing that like he has no protection. But this just makes him more kind of scared, And he basically goes out and goes, you know, tries to work with them and everything, and goes, okay, maybe we can, maybe this might work or whatever, you know, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna help them. But then he himself gets attacked. Um, and then he's really scared because he's brought back to when he was a kid or whatever. And he's brought back to when he was a kid, and he realizes that he's vulnerable, and you know, he doesn't want to be attacked, and he doesn't have his cats or whatever. And the vet, the shelters that he goes to get his cats or whatever and help out with the cats, they were attacked, and there's been systematic attacks now against cats and against him, and these creatures are more intelligent than the other ones were. And they're inciting a lot of stuff. And in the beginning of the book, and there's, you know, I'm having I put in a scene where he basically, you know, every day he works in the subway or something. He works in the subway. I have him right now working in the subway. And every day he walks, and because it's an enclosed area, he knows where he can go, and he can see these creatures and write it down. He doesn't go out other than the subway because it's, you know, unguarded. And he sees these creatures by like these homeless people that are always fighting. And the cat maybe attacks them, but when he always comes back, they're by there because, you know, they go through the subway. So, I mean, there's a lot more that happens in the story, but he kind of gives up and he goes, "Fine, you know, forget it, you guys. I'm not helping you. Like, I gotta protect myself." When they realize that like the epicenter of all these attacks is coming from some one certain point, and they're gonna go there and attack the creatures, and he said no. And so then he's going home on the subway or whatever, and he realizes, you know, the homeless people are you know, fighting or whatever, and he you know, he goes up to them and he's like, he talks to them, or I haven't really figured out what he's gonna do. Maybe he makes them laugh or something, and he realizes that the creatures, um, you know, are going away and like shrink or whatever. You know, like they're that he realizes that the creatures have a part in it, but he also realizes that, you know, the people that are fighting also have a part in it, and that he has control over something, and he can do something. And it's, you know, kind of the whole story is about like you have a choice of, you know, there's evil in the world, and you have a choice to, you know, go and, you know, fight against it, whether it be like, you know, helping people resolve their issues or whatever, like he did, or, you know, the more metaphorical fighting of them, where the the Vietnam vet goes and fighting them with weapons, but I mean, that's more of a metaphorical thing, obviously. But, you know, like, you can either be scared of it, or you can go and, like, and try to fight the evil that's there. So that's kind of what I have so far, and, you know, um, I'm writing it right now. I have a few things done, like, this looks kind of bad right now, but you can kind of see it. Like, here's the cat, and he's running with the cat. But, and he's on the radio. Here's a better one. So he's on the radio. That's him there. He's on the radio. I haven't filled any of this in. They're all still, you know, in pencil. But I really want to get it done because I've been working on this story for a really long time, and I really want to get it done soon. But so that's it. So that's kind of like, I was thinking about dreams and everything, and you know, kind of makes you wonder, like, about, you know, are we sensitive to, when we dream about things, our like unconscious is more up there in our conscious, so maybe we're seeing things that really exist. Kind of expands you know, um, your mind. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, yeah. So, and please no one write this comic book I'm writing. That would be horrible for me, but